Mm, mm, Um, okay. Let me just let Candace go. Right, you guys, could you imagine threats so secret that not even the Secret Service could detect them? Because that's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. The Secret Service has come out and said, nope, Erica's a liar, and so is her mama. Okay, basically, I'm being a little bit dramatic. They didn't say her mama was a liar, but I just added that. I'm not lying as much as her. They definitely said she was lying. There's no other way to interpret the statement that they released. I also think it's interesting that they got a statement out to the press. Plus, Victor Marks was, if you did not know this, I mentioned it yesterday, the very first person to announce on social media that Charlie Kirk was dead. In a post that he subsequently deleted, he left it up actually for quite a long time. And given everything that I have learned about him now, the allegations that he is working or was working with Israel, that information suddenly feels very relevant. So we're going to review it. And lastly, the ATF released their summary, not even really the report. And it's a nothing burger. I want you to know that it is one big nothing burger. Everything else is just noise. Welcome back to Candace. Hey, wait. I need you to show me how to convert a Word doc to a PDF again. Seriously? You know? I was so caught up. That commercial before her intro is crazy. Let me do a sound check real quick. I'm just doing the sound check. It's a little, what is that? Oh, I thought that was me. I thought that was me. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday. Put some cream on my lips. Because they are ashy. Is that better? Happy Thursday. It's Millionaire Thursday. You're going to have to put that out there. It is Millionaire Thursday. So I know that hit a little different. But I'm going to just put that out there. It is Millionaire Thursday. Get in where you fit in. I had such a laugh earlier because just this entire situation at the University of Georgia, it's objectively hilarious. You kind of just sometimes have to stand back and watch it all and recognize that it's a sitcom. Turning Point USA has turned into a sitcom. Somehow Erica really thought that she was just going to get away with saying that there was this very credible threat against her life and nobody would go, oh wait, you probably shouldn't say that with the vice president in the room. Like you can't just say stuff. That's one of my phrases. You can't just say stuff, but you definitely shouldn't just say stuff when you have the vice president of the United States with you. That would actually rise if there was a credible threat against you to a national security threat, right? You're saying my life is at risk. Okay. What? That means that the vice president's life was also at risk. There's no way to actually separate that. So of course, what naturally followed was there were some journalists who were alarmed and they reached out to the White House and they reached out to the Secret Service for additional information and comment regarding this alleged threat. And here's the headline. This is in Barry Weiss's CBS, no less. Okay. So this is like she's got contacts at CBS and even they had to just run this headline. Secret Service determines no credible threats to UGA rally after Erica Kirk's cancellation, the source says. Embedded in the article, it reads the U.S. Secret Service determined There were no credible threats
Hello,
in
Mariska.
Tuesday's Turning Point USA rally at the University of Georgia, even as a planned co-appearance by Erica Kirk was canceled over unspecified security concerns. A person familiar with the matter tells CBS News, according to the source, that the site was secure and there were no known threats to the protectee. That would be VP. While Kirk may have received hostile messages, including on social media, those were not part of any identified or actionable threat stream that was monitored by federal authorities. Let me interpret that for you. There's literally no
Hello,
way to separate this.
Julie.
When the vice president is speaking, if he's going to speak at an event and Candace Owens is going to be on stage, the federal authorities are going to be looking online for threats against Candace Owens, because you're not going to be like, oh, well, that person said they're going to kill Candace Owens, but don't worry, Veep. They're only going to go, when they're there, they're only going to kill Candace. She's interviewing you on stage, but don't worry about this threat. No, of course, they also would be looking at threats against Turning Point USA, threats against that were being directed toward Erica Kirk, and they said this was not happening. There was no threat against Erica, would have been a threat against the VP. And I find it interesting if they got this out, that they decided to speak with CBS, obviously off record, probably because what Erica said embarrassed them. That would imply that her security team had intel that they did not have.
Mm-mm.
The intel was deemed so credible that they decided that she could not do the event, but the Secret Service just decided to press
Mm.
how the VP. You're basically saying the Secret Service is not good at their job. And they said, no, we're going to come out and we're going to clarify the matter. This is mortifying for
Hey,
Trump.
Aubrey.
This is Erica girl bossing a little too close to the sun. She's just been getting away with lies, making phone calls, and finally the Secret Service just tracked her. Now, it gets even worse.
Uh-oh.
I am not sure how I completely overlooked this plausibility. Actually, I am, probably because this option was so nonsensical in my mind that did not even occur to me to consider it. The idea that Erica could have actually been in Georgia already.
She watched Baron. Oh, she was in the chat. I forgot. I forgot. Her ass was in the chat last night. Yeah, get into it. Get into it.
That she truly canceled in the last minute after she had already been to the venue. That never even crossed my mind. I assumed wrongly that she must have been in Scottsdale, right? That's the only way to make the story work. They said somebody was tracking her flight. Okay, well, obviously that's got to be a Scottsdale thing. That in my mind, I thought this,
Right. Sure,
right?
sure,
She then
sure.
decided not to fly in because of some threats.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I was wrong. That is not what happened at all.
My ass was there.
I watched Baron Coleman's show last night, and he offered
She was in the chair.
option, and then we received a tip that
Oh,
Erica was indeed in Georgia already. And you're not going to believe how this actually went down, Erica canceling her event. So, right at the top, I just want to say that us as a society, we deserve better psyops. This is starting to feel
right.
disrespectful. She's place, they're
Mm-hmm.
all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to say that we deserve better psyops.
Mm-hmm.
But I want you to know that the lie that she told here is so big that it is worthy of not just her having to step down, but Andrew Colvett should frankly also have to resign in shame once I show you how this went down. There's something wrong with both of these people. So just so you understand what
What?
happens when the vice president of the United States goes to any town to speak, or the president of the
Mm-hmm.
United
Mm-hmm.
States
Mm-hmm.
goes to speak, it's at least 48 hours
Mm.
before he arrives, the airport, the venue in which he is going to fly into, everything is going to be swept and secured. Are going to be sent ahead of him. Military guys are going to be sent ahead of him, ahead of his arrival. Of course, they don't do this on the day of, right? You're not just figuring it out with the number two guy in the United States. So on the day of his arrival, they already know how the entire perimeter, it's going to be the entire perimeter is around wherever he travels, right? You're not really going to be able to reach the vice president when he is traveling. So there is, in my mind, there was a 0% chance that Erica had a viable threat pertaining to her travel while she was already in Georgia. I just completely said that's not an option.
Okay.
But that's what happened, Erica. That's the story they were trying to sell. And here's what actually happened on that day. Okay. Well, Well, let's start before. On Saturday evening, Erica Kirk flew into Palm Beach because she was attending Bettina's bridal shower, which took place on Sunday. Here are some photos of her on Sunday at Bettina, soon to be Trump's bridal shower. She's engaged to Don Trump Jr. I instantly assessed that this was taking place on Sunday because Ivanka's there. And so is Ivanka's daughter. And that tells us that obviously it's not Saturday because Ivanka is, they're Orthodox. So that happened on Sunday. On Monday, Erica elected to stay in
Easter.
Palm Beach. On Tuesday, she flew from West Palm Beach up to Athens, Georgia for her event. And I want to be clear, she therefore flew into the already secured by the Secret Service, the federal government had already secured this days earlier, the private airport and the terminal, very same one that the vice president was due to arrive. Okay. The story is done. It's done right there. So we're going to look at the timeline from that day so that you can appreciate the audacity of the lie that they tried to sell us. Later on, they're going to admit that they lied, but before, let's get here. At 1:27 p.m., Erica departed West Palm Beach for the Georgia event. At 2:40, Erica landed into Athens, Georgia. At 3:53 p.m., JD Vance's plane begins circling in the air above North Carolina because this is when he receives the phone call that Erica doesn't want to do the event. I'm going to assume Erica called him personally. So you can see that little loop de loop. When I come down here, he's circling, and she's not just going to be on the tarmac freaking out and saying there's no empty. The Secret Service is waiting for JD to land. Okay, like that. This did not happen. Obviously, there was nobody at the terminal on her plane. She had already landed, so we can't be like, oh, she thought that somebody was going to put something scary on her plane. She's already there. And so that's what we have. JD Vance then lands, you see, it, into Athens at 4:34 p.m. So into the same airport as Erica. No threat, no threat. Nobody waiting at the airport that was like, oh no, you're good. I know you boys are with JD Vance, the vice president. I'm actually, I'm over here for Erica. I'm over there for Erica. 5 o'clock p.m., the Y Refi guy who's around too much, he opens now every tour stop and pitches Y Refi. Well, he opened this event at 5 p.m. And it looks certainly like he acknowledges Erica on stage and looks to the left. He says her name and he says, like, thank you, Erica. I'm going to show you the clip because it signals to me that Erica was just off to the left on off stage. Like, that's where you would stand. I've done a million events that she was just off stage, probably was going to come out and speak and say some words. Listen to Lane Schilberger. Erica continues to support and inspire us every day to keep pushing forward, fighting for the idea that everyone deserves a path to redemption and prosperity. So, Erica, thank you. Thank you for your friendship.
Look again. We saw that last night on Barron.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm telling you, I am with Barron on this. She was in the building and she was backstage where people could not see her. Okay. And what likely happened was she then assessed, they had assessed that people were not showing up and Erica was going into a meltdown. Barron even pointed out the fact that Andrew was dressed way too casually, and Andrew is like very metrosexual. He was just dressed way too casually to interview Jane Vance. Like, this literally all had to happen last second because Andrew Colbert does know how to dress appropriately for venues. He would not have been dressed like that to interview the vice president. And so this last minute thing was Erica was already at the venue. She realized nobody was coming and she wanted to cancel the event. So what happens is JD plane that 2 hours ago, meaning when his plane started circling in the air, that 2 hours ago, I didn't know if this event was going to be happening. So take a listen. Well, first of all, I love Erica, and I know that she gets threats. And, about 2 hours ago, Andrew, I was a little worried that we were going to have to cancel the event because Erica was not going to come, and she was very worried about it. And I talked to the Secret Service, and obviously these guys do a very good job. And I said, you know what? Let's let Erica do what she needs to do for herself and her family. I thought this viral pressure nozzle was another
Do
clean.
what she need to do.
3 months later, I haven't touched my $400 pressure washer once. They're called Aquoxus, and they're nothing like those weak spray nozzles you've tried before. This thing multiplies your garden hose pressure by 15 times without using a single drop of electricity. He's basically saying that the Secret Service, that we have no idea what she's talking about. We're good.
That's what I was
I
talking
don't know what she's
about.
having a meltdown about. We've obviously secured everything, and he's like, okay, like just let her figure things out.
Right.
And I'll tell you what happened. Erica did not leave Athens until 6:39 p.m. She departed Athens and she headed back for Scottsdale. So that's a long time that she was there. Okay, Erica was there for 4 hours. And there was, as the Secret Service determined, no credible threat.
threat.
They would not have ignored a serious threat against Erica Kirk because that would mean there was a serious threat against the vice president. She was interviewing him. Don't separate that. And what are we to take from this? I just want to be clear, and I will continue to say this. I don't care if I have to be public enemy number one. Erica Kirk is malevolent. She is malevolent. Let's accept that. Because it's not only that she's capable of lying to us, okay, she does it often. It's the manner in which she does it. There is always a bend toward evil. Okay, let me explain what I mean. Tons of people that lie. There are people who literally have to lie for a living, PR agents, right? They have to kind of always tell us a white lie. And usually it is to afford some protection to their client. We're used to that. Oh, this artist is actually being treated in the hospital for exhaustion. Okay, we get it. They probably had an overdose and they're probably headed to rehab, right? Like, but they're not going to tell us that because is it really our business to know that an artist had an overdose? Probably not. Okay. But then there are circumstances when artists do something that is wrong and it's in public. I think when Morgan Wallen, the country star, threw a chair out of a bar window downtown here in Nashville, which he had some bad luck and unfortunately landed a few feet away from some police officers. He gets arrested. What does he do after that? He issues a public apology, said that, like, I went to the police station. I wanted to make sure that I apologized to everyone. I'm not happy about what I did, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Yeah, that's what you do. And you know what? The public is actually very forgiving normally.
Extremely.
I love Morgan Wallen. He gets in trouble. It's like it's almost like a part of his brand. The public is very forgiving when you are honest and you own up to your own crap.
Transparency,
Very different
accountability.
and a very specific breed of an individual to do something wrong and to blame the public. Okay, to throw a chair out a bar window and then to direct your public relations team to tell the vice president that you did it because there was an immediate threat to your safety in that bar. And that's ultimately the result of deranged fans online that comment every time you sing a good country song. You threw that chair because you needed the fastest route to get back to your kids at home. Oh, I'm sorry. Now it's our fault that he threw a chair. Okay, that's weird. It's a little bit psychopathic. Only a very specific breed of a human could muster the shamelessness that it takes to abandon your public commitment. You committed that you were going to be there. You then decided you didn't want to do it. And to be clear, out of an act of vanity, you decided you didn't want to do it. You were like, oh, not enough people here. I don't want to do this anymore. And then rather than owning that and issuing a statement online and saying, like, I didn't want to be there, or maybe nicely saying that I'll come out in a couple of days and explain to you guys why I pulled out last second. She then directs her PR team to not just make up a lie, but to create an existential threat to her life, which will ultimately assign blame on the public. You guys failed to protect me. That's why I'm not here tonight. That's vicious.
That's crazy.
That's malevolent. And continue to underscore what Elizabeth Lane, the reporter, stated in her post.
Psychopath.
In her opinion, Erica Kirk exhibits the attributes of a psychopath. That's psychopathic thinking to turn it around on other people because you made a decision. And by the way, I want to be clear, I'm now of a different opinion as to why JD Vance came out of the gates with all that energy, fired up about how she was being treated. I have no proof of this. I'm going to speculate here. But I do know that when Erica did not want people to show up to the Catholics for Catholics event because I was speaking there, I wasn't speaking about her, we're not speaking about politics, but literally it was a prayer. She made personal phone calls and she cried on the phone. Okay. JD Vance's energy is giving that Erica cried on the phone. I think that when JD Vance's plane was circling, of course, Erica would have called him directly. She would not have done that via a third person, a third party person, out of respect. I think she was on the phone with him. She cried, right? His energy is like the male. I need to protect a woman in distress. Like she's a female. She's distressed. She's just scared and like I'm looking online and people are saying like they're just saying that like they want me to die. And I'm just like, I'm just so overwhelmed right now, Mr. Vice President. I'm just so overwhelmed. Dab, 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 no tears. I'm so overwhelmed. And he was probably like, oh my God. And my kids, I just don't want my kids to be an orphan, Mr. Vice President. Just I know I'm so sorry. That's what I think went down. Okay. That it
She's certified, ain't she? Booyah. She knows she's certified, honey.
energy that he is giving is like, oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I need to like protect this injured bird. So unfair that she's scared. She's worried about her kids, just an event. And the reality was that Erica just saw the crowd. She didn't want to speak. She dealt with JD. And then she directed Andrew to make up a sinister lie. We're not going to call it, it's a sinister lie, right? I think JD on the phone probably tried to assure her the Secret Service already saw everything, gonna be fine. And then she did something along the I can't, I'm sorry, my family. And he was completely understanding because why wouldn't he be? She's dropping, like, I don't want my kids to be an orphan, which is what
It seems like the timeline still doesn't add up. The event hasn't started yet. Has it? I don't know. I didn't check. That's not what time. Uh-oh. Raju is in the building. Welcome back.
that the Secret Service had things under control, but that he understood that she needed to do what was right for her family. That's my best read on the situation. I think Erica is calculated. And I want to say to JD Vance, you better wake up fast, okay? That's a black widow, my friend.
Uh-uh.
You will get bit.
Oh.
And you should probably consult your wife on this matter. Women understand these things better. We know what women are capable of. Men, it's good to have that built into you that your instinct is to want to defend a woman that is crying. But let me tell you, there are some women that are crying who will take you down.
Mm. Mm.
And I gotta give credit to the Secret Service coming out and saying that she lied, leaking to the press. That is humiliating for JD because he was manipulated. But it also represents a PR crisis of epic proportions for Erica. Make no mistake. And I think it is obvious that they have some crisis PR person. And Andrew was sort of made to step aside because what an idiot for not thinking that that would backfire when you in the executive office into this absurdity. And it looks like they hired someone probably in the last 24 hours, judging by this article that I just read, which I'm going to show you because this is the first time that the PR was kind of good here for the first time ever. Turning Point did not gaslight the public. So whoever they brought in a woman, and she's like, just stop with the BS. No one believes this. And in the article, get ready for the first time they're going to admit that Erica may have done some things that are wrong. It's mind blowing. I couldn't believe the words I was reading, especially because the Daily Mail is one of their favorite rags that just like does all of their bidding and pretends that everything they say is right. It says TPUSA cited concerns over serious threats to her safety, but insiders say that that is not the full story. Kirk has faced criticism from some online commentators who felt that her return to public life after Charlie's death was too swift or that her appearances struck the wrong tone. A close confidant told the Daily Mail, quote, she is aware of how she is coming across. She's not stupid. She has seen the online comments. She gets it. It hurts. Last month, the backlash reached a new level after a viral video by a comedian Drewski mocked Kirk's behavior after her husband's killing, featuring exaggerated expressions and fake tears. The insider continued, the Drewski video showed her what people thought of her. She's really hurt that people are feeling this way about her, that they're mocking her. She pulled out of the TPUSA event because of a bunch of factors. I don't think it was just security concerns, the source said. If there were security concerns, the vice president wouldn't have gone. That's the closest that we're going to get to her admitting that they lied and that actually she was embarrassed and that. And Baron Coleman called it last night. He called it Drewski. He said it last night. He probably live right now.
Boom.
He pulled out. Right? That's like I was mind blown by that. And then
He
it goes
said
on.
it.
By the way, they can never mention me without insulting me in the same sentence, even when they're admitting that I was right. It says far right commentator Candace Owens, who has peddled outlandish conspiracy theories about Charlie's death, suggested that Kirk's no show was due to low ticket sales. But the insider added, it wasn't just the ticket sales either. It was also mental exhaustion of like, nothing I do will be right and people will make fun of me. So she canceled. Okay. So it was because there were low ticket numbers and you thought that you would be made fun of. The writer also recaps that in the weeks that followed Charlie's assassination, she returned to the public eye, appearing at events and speaking engagements despite her grief. Critics, however, claim that her behavior came across as performative or unnatural. And the insider says, quote, she says that she was putting on a face, a brave face, and that's why she was doing what she was doing. I agree that it was a bad look. Everyone told her it was a bad look, but she did it anyway. I know she's mourning Charlie, we all are, but she just has a funny way of showing it. Do I think that she's mourning enough? That's not for me to say. But do I think that she's coming across badly? Yes, that much is obvious. And finally, she's starting to see how weird it all looked. That's a good thing. Uh, I've never seen it. I read this and I went, wow, they hired somebody who's not Andrew Colbert and they are copying to the fact that they have been gaslighting us and that Erica has been weird and that everything that they have done has been wrong and that they are telling us absurd lies. We are catching them in the lies and they keep lying. What Andrew Colbert should have to apologize. He should apologize to the vice president. I'm sorry to say, but this feels like a win, right? We gotta take it where we can get it. This feels like a win. Like at long last, someone said it's not working, and we need to pivot. And
Bingo.
that's because we have kept up the pressure and we have clocked them on every single lie. I'm at the point right now. I want Erica to just drop a book like "If I Did Do It,"
Oh,
like OJ did. "If I Did Do It" by Erica Kirk. I think that would move more copies than the book about Shabbat. Anyway, switching gears to her.
let me take it in. Let me see if I did do it. I mean, I'm gonna read it. No, definitely read it now. I'm gonna peek through and see what she talking about.
Her friend Victor Marks because we now have proof that he did indeed announce that Charlie Kirk had died first, to the world first, I should say. And it's very interesting. It's interesting because of everything we just learned about him. And you wonder where he got that information. It's at least relevant enough to plot on our timeline, is it not? I think so. Victor Marks was the first person who announced that Charlie went to heaven, is what he said. I'm going to show you that post right here. And the person who sent this to us, they sent it to us in Eastern Standard Time. Fortunately, they had it screenshots. Their buddy sent it to them. And
Okay, charge at 100%. We on Wi-Fi. I'm over here on Eastern Standard Time too, so
it showed us the timeline, but it says here Victor Marks wrote, "Pray for Erica and their two little children who need."
shout out to whoever screenshotted this 23 minutes ago. I appreciate the Holy Spirit telling whoever this was a screen grab that real quick. Cause that's exactly how I feel about that song by Ye. That Hell HILTEI. When the Holy Spirit tell you to screenshot, screen grab something, child, you just at this point you just oblige.
Now that Charlie is
23 minutes ago.
the shooter is in custody. And he did a video and he announced that Charlie had died. And people in the comments were like, But Glenn Beck posted he's stable. This is not confirmed. Who confirmed this? I haven't seen anything posted that he passed. And I remember this happening on the day. I do certainly remember that Victor.
That's crazy how the percentage went down though.
Died. And
did you see that percentage had went down?
Information
16.
1:13 p.m. Utah time, Mountain Standard.
Oh.
So that is less than an hour after Charlie was shot. Erica Kirk's dear friend Victor Marks announced.
Not dear friend.
That's just 50 minutes after Charlie was shot. Who told him?
I
feel like that is early, and we should plot that here, revisit our minute by minute timeline from September 10th and see where that falls exactly, because it's almost like he knew with Erica. It's kind of like how Bibi knew a little too soon that he had been shot, commented too soon, just before the president of the United States, and Victor Marks put that video up at 1:13 p.m. That should be when Erica found out, when she got off the phone with the doctor about. So the public didn't officially find out until President Trump announced it at 2:40 p.m. on X. Again, this is all in Mountain Time, Mountain Time Zone. So yeah, he beat him by an hour and 27 minutes. It's weird. I think it's weird. You guys think it's weird? I want you to think about that, and we will be right back after a brief break. Watch us go from beanbag to 9 seconds. It easily transforms.
It's that Tara Farnsworth that said it. She must have forgot that part. In that selfie video. Remember he said he's dead.
Anyway, Victor Marks,
Oh.
back to him.
Oh.
Well, Baron Coleman also did some digging and determined that he is a licensed firearms dealer.
Bingo.
Another brilliant find. Take a listen.
Baron.
Candace made an interesting observation, is that this guy likes to buy a lot of guns. And what does he do with them? Like, how does a private citizen buy 50 guns at a time? And so we went looking, and what we found is he has a Class 1 FFL. Lots of websites you can look this up. This is one that we were able to redact his personal information out of. You will find the Class 1 designation on some of the other websites. But trust me, if you look him up, the Victor Marks Group LLC, Colorado Springs, where he lives, you will find he has an FFL Class 1 license. What that means is he is a licensed firearm dealer. He is a licensed firearm dealer. Now, I don't know about your preachers. I've had a few over my years. I don't believe any of them have been licensed firearms dealers. I've had a lot of political candidates that I've been around. I don't remember any of them being licensed firearm dealers.
Sure,
We
is
watched.
interesting.
We watched it last night.
Victor Marks still has not answered my messages. By the way, despite doing the rounds in the press almost immediately, he is claiming that he is willing to sit down with me, but he's got some conditions. One of the conditions is that he wants to be able to bring his wife, Eileen, but he does not want Corby Hall to be present. The person whose letter I read, that's very relevant. He is a person that had the experience with you wanting weapons in Haiti when he advised against it, Israel. It would just make sense that Corby Hall should be here, because I did not transact with Victor Marks for weapons in Haiti with Jimmy Barbecue. I gotta tell you guys, I'm a gut player, and just listening to Victor Marks' explanation regarding his dealings with Corby Hall did not ring true to me. Okay, I want you to listen to him explain. He admits that he threatened to beat Corby Hall up, but he gives an excuse for why he did that. Let me know if his excuse passes the sniff test for you. Take a listen.
Sniff
The
test.
one thing he said that is true is I did say I would whoop his ass.
And what was the context of that?
Uh, he was, he's super depressed, having troubles, and we got him here. And I was walking around our training facility just for hours, walking, and he started making weird, threatening innuendos. But I ended up taking him into the training center and teaching him how to punch because he just said I've never fought anybody. I feel like a coward. And so we just need to learn how to do some basics. So I'm working on a bag with him to try to build up his confidence. Uh, and then it didn't last though.
So just to be clear, that little edit that we did there, he's talking about the same day. So to recap, he took Corby Hall came, and Corby was like, "I'm depressed," and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna whoop your ass." It's just, and then they stare at each other, and then they do some more walking around the compound, and he implies that like he thought Corby Hall was said something with innuendo. I don't know what that means, given the fact that he then in the next breath says that Corby Hall has never fought, and so he then took him to learn how to fight, how to throw a punch. I just don't feel like somebody would go to someone's property who is a gun enthusiast and a registered arms dealer and would just start a fight, not even knowing how to throw a punch. But that's what he wants us to believe. Like Corby was surrounded by military men and a massive private property, private firearm dealer, and thought that it was a good idea to threaten the property owner who has the security all around. And then they just were like, "Yeah, if you just become best friends, yeah, let's learn how to fight." Yeah, no, I don't know. Elsewhere in this interview, the he's asked directly about trafficking arms, and here is what he was asked, and here is how he answered. Take a listen.
One of the primary accusations he has against you is that you are seeking to traffic rifles to Haiti, Israel, and possibly Iran. Have you ever sought to traffic rifles, arms of any kind to those countries?
Of course not. It's illegal. How would I even be where I am today? For years of working with federal, state, local authorities, uh, that's something that he has dreamed up, I guess. But it's real simple. When people, and I'm realizing this day and age, when people bring allegations against you, I'm not one that has to defend it. They have to prove allegations or they're discredited. Because everybody now uses those words where you can't be sued for slander, liability, all that. So it's silly and it's sad.
They don't want you to know how toxic this is. If you're buying
Man, he deflected like a motherfucker, didn't he? Of course not. He's so cool though. Of course not.
So just to clarify,
Right.
Corby asserted that Victor Marx wanted guns sold in Israel. He never said anything about it being an illegal transaction. He asserted that the Haitian arms deal would have been illegal since you are not allowed to do those sorts of transactions with Haiti. Federally, he was like, it's you can't do that. So he declined and cautioned Victor Marx against it. He also, and I'm speaking about Corby, submitted to me some text messages, which certainly go some way of proving that Victor Marx, at the very least, was in communication with Israel to purchase guns, or rather to purchase the patent for his business, Full AR, on behalf of the IDF. So I'm going to read these messages. And again,
Mm.
happy to have Victor Marx on the show to sit down and dispute and say these are inauthentic, but here they are. Victor Marx wrote, I've tried to help you in three specific areas: your personal walk, your marriage, and your business. I'm still willing to help put a deal in front of you, but this is my name, my reputation, and my relationships that are on the line. The Israeli Defense Group we are connected with is ready to review the patent and possible deal. Okay, so he's connected to an Israeli Defense Group. These messages are real. Uh, you don't know all of who I am, and that's fine. I'd like to know all of who you are. I think the state of Colorado might want to know all of who you are. He continues, but understand this. Just last night, a company that I'm part owner of got awarded a major SOCOM contract for highly specialized work. So I am telling you, God is moving, but he's not obligated to bless you just because you're talented or wounded. His grace is a gift, and he resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. And so, in response, this is what Corby wrote. He wrote, "Why so much focus on the IDF and not as much on domestic schools? One to fund the other? Question mark. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. God did not have me design this for war. If He did, then it is for after schools. If He did, then it is for after schools are made the primary focus, and we have only covered less than 10%. IDF is not going to be using this for protection of children as a primary concern. Are they putting men in their schools with it? correct me if I'm completely wrong. I would hate to send 1,000 units to the IDF and have an unprotected school get shut up here.
Mm.
Which actually brings up a good point. Can Israel guarantee to put one or two in each of its schools along with a military order? So this is exactly what he said with what we read, that he wanted to make sure the primary focus was going to be schools, and that Victor Marx did not like that, and he started using, oh God, and this and timing and that to manipulate him. And Victor Marx replies and says, I'm glad you received my words. Let's see if you apply them. Corby, focus. You won't be sending 1,000 units to anyone in the IDF. You will get a paycheck for the patent and possibly your company and then on to your next adventure. So he's basically saying they're just going to buy it. They're going to buy you out. You know, you don't have to sell anything to them
Right.
because they want your patent for fold AR. So yes, he is, if these messages are him, they're not. I'm happy to have them dispute it. I certainly don't think Corby made these up last night. And he, I believe, said that this conversation took place sometime in April. Skylar, is that right? I want to say it was April, but don't quote me on that. It was. Okay. In April, he's transacting on behalf of the IDF. I mean, is there another way to interpret that? Like, they want your patent so that they can go do what? Are they known for anything good when it comes to schools?
Mm.
So that conversation took place in April of 2025. What are we to conclude from it? I am happy, just to be clear, to have Victor on with his wife. If he'd like to have her, I have no problem with that. But we will need him to agree to sit down with Corby Hall because he sent me a ton of messages and I would like to begin to sort through them. Otherwise, I am happy to have just Victor on my show alone, one on one. If he would like to join me virtually to more generally discuss his life and how he became so close with Erica Kirk, how he knew initially, before anybody else, virtually at the same time as Erica Kirk, that Charlie Kirk had died. He knew before me, certainly knew before me.
Mm.
I'll leave it at that.
Oh.
I will leave it at that.
Ooh.
By the way, before we get into this ATF report, something that I forgot to mention to you is that we found out that Robert Maxwell, yes, I feel like a lot of this is circulating around Epstein and Robert Maxwell.
Ghislaine's
If
dad.
the former Mossad agent is to be
Right.
believed, he's the one who brought Epstein together with Ghislaine, got him involved in arms trafficking first. People forget this little tidbit.
Mm-hmm.
But also Viktor Ostrovsky said the same thing. He was initially brought in regarding the Iran-Contra deal in the 80s.
Mm.
That is what, dealing with Adnan Khashoggi, initially that was what he was brought in to do with Israel.
Right.
Got turned into a blackmail ring. The Mossad agent that tells the story, there's clips of him. He says that like he thought that Jeffrey Epstein was an idiot and they found more use to him blackmailing politicians. But originally it was arms trafficking. I'm bringing this up to you because something that I forgot to mention is that Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine's father, was one of the early investors into Bain Capital, Mitt Romney's company. Who knew? What a tangled web we weave. The company was started with seed money from Ghislaine's dad. And then he's best friends at this time with Netanyahu. Mitt Romney, they're at Boston Consulting Group. They're having trouble raising money. He's having trouble raising money for Bain Capital. Apparently, the Los Angeles Times did a piece uncovering this back in 2012 when Mitt Romney was running. They learned that he was struggling to raise the initial $37 million that they wanted for their fund. So they turned to foreign investors, and Robert Maxwell gave him $2 million out of the $37 million, as well as some other foreign shady investors. Here it is. My wife stopped trusting me because I never do the. Yeah, that's fascinating. Like I said, a tangled web we weave. Eventually, I think we're going to need to put together a column of people that seem to just be 1 degree away from Jeffrey Epstein on our spreadsheet. Eventually, that column might become necessary because it just keeps coming up as a recurring theme. Anyway, back to or regarding rather the ATF. The ATF summary has been released. They're trying to make it catch or pretend that there's something in there that's big or explosive. It's not. It's not explosive. That's one of the things that I just keep saying, and I want to keep repeating myself so that you get this through your mind. They have not yet proven that Tyler Robinson's weapon was even fired on September 10th. That's nowhere. First thing you would do if you were brought into the police is they would conduct that basic test to see if you had gun residue on you. They would also test the weapon. Bomb dogs were brought in. They did not find that weapon, which means that it was not recently. Thank you for the hearts. You was trying to get my attention. You was trying to get my attention, weren't you? Hi, Raju. Neither the bomb dogs or the canines were able to determine that. So that's a major problem here. From the beginning, I've been saying they are not going to be able to connect this gun. My belief of what happened is that Lance Twiggs is way more involved. I believe he's a federal asset. I believe as his roommate, he got Tyler Robinson's gun. He got Tyler Robinson's casings and at an earlier time. And then that was dropped off at some point, maybe the day before or on September 10th. Oh, that gun was dropped off and then it was found. And that's why the bomb dogs couldn't find it because it was not recently fired. They can, I believe, smell it. Even if it rains, they could still smell the gun residue up to 7 days after the weapon is fired. They did not find it, so it was not fired. Okay. And so they've released this ATF summary, to be clear, and the press is doing what they're doing because they've been trying to slant this case in favor of the prosecution, pretending that there's some bombshell in it. Just know that there is not a bombshell. It's getting no traction, but we can pull this up very quickly, and it just basically verifies exactly what the defense laid out in their filing, that all they got was this. They got a summary report and they told you what they took a look at. They determined that the cartridge case matched the gun. That okay? Remember he's carving the case. Okay, whatever. We knew that. I never was under any illusions that this was not going to be Tyler Robinson's gun. I knew that it was Tyler Robinson's gun. I knew that it had his prints on it, and it also had 6 sets of other prints. Whose prints are those? Who are the other, pardon me, 5 other sets of prints that are on that gun? That would be an interesting thing for us to learn. And so it basically says, yeah, the cartridge just matched the gun. That's all happening not inside of Charlie's body. And then it tells us that the bullet jacket, the fragments from the bullet jacket, could not be identified or excluded as having been fired from the Exhibit 1 rifle based on an agreement of all discernible class characteristics. And so now they are asking, or they are alleging that they are going to uh, look into the matter a different way. They're going to use microscopic comparison just in time for me to get a microscope for my birthday, because I promise you I will do tests. However they say they are conducting this, if they say it works, they can match this. I will make sure that I get into the backyard She's so and I make sure that that is actually a manner that can be done. I am going to become an expert at microscopes overnight, I promise you. God. Because this all now is beginning to look as it always has looked, which is like funny business. They're
suspicious.
trying to make this fit. They are corrupt. They know they don't have a case. They want to bring back old FBI tactics that were first put in place after JFK was shot because they lied about that as well. And this is that all over again. He was assassinated. I believe the government, our government was involved. I believe foreign governments were involved as well, that this hit was allowed to go through and that Charlie Kirk was removed as a barrier to the Iranian war. That is my opinion based off of everything that I have looked at, and that many people are now engaged in a cover up. And I also believe that they're all going to get caught. So there's that happy, optimistic message. We'll be right back after the break.
Not optimistic. Interesting. I do love me a little optimism. Speaking of. I gotta wear this child. She got a lineup at this point. At least the achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Is that Helen Keller? That is Helen. I'll take it. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Absolutely nothing can be done without hope and confidence. Okay, Helen. It's always nice when I know who it is. Real optimism knows the difficulties but believes that they can overcome. I need it straight to the point. Straight. Dalai Lama. Okay. Okay. All right. Come on, get you the comment, shut up.
I'm telling you guys, I'm getting a microscope. Feds are effing around. They're going to find out. I'm telling ATF, you're going to find out. I'm going to get a microscope. I'm going to put on the glasses. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to examine whatever you say is the manner that in which you do this. You're not going to use a bunch of big words.
Right.
The bullet. Nope. We are going to do our due diligence with this case. If you are saying that this bullet, which we were initially told they found the bullet, now they're saying it's a fragment, and now they have to bring in special techniques to try to connect it. Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense at all. Top comment from from yesterday's episode. That's correct.
Yeah.
Where was all of this amazing security when Charlie said they're going to kill me?
Just that.
They were receiving his messages. Dan Flood was receiving his messages, and then after he failed to protect Charlie, didn't even, as I am told from our sources, did not even do a walkthrough. All he cared about in the lead up to that was ensuring that they had a clean exit behind Charlie. They ignored the security concerns that were expressed by the school that they shouldn't do this in a uncontrolled area for uncontrolled traffic area.
Right.
They put him there like a sitting duck. They got him out of there fast. And then after that, what do we know? Dan Flood gets offered a bonus and a raise from Erica. Okay. Totally normal. Maybe you should add that to the Daily Mail article. Not the most normal thing to do. Actually, you got one job and you failed it. You don't offer that person a promotion. But you did. Robert Madden wrote, the only threat she should worry about is the truth coming out. That is correct, guys. I have to show you this tweet. Speaking of which, that took me out when I saw this. I didn't even retweet because it was so good. I wanted to show you guys just on my show. This person, Zach, wrote, I interviewed the chair sending Erica death threats, and this is what it had to say. This is the perfect pair for your iPhone.
It's so silly. So silly.
I just love the internet. The internet is just always here for a good time.
Yeah.
Okay, let's read some of your comments from today's episode. Nikki Schumacher writes, as a Reformed Baptist in the Deep South, I have started worshiping with the Presbyterians because I just can't with the false gospel of Israel is God's bride. It is just so obvious that it is a heresy, more obvious than it's ever been. Them constantly using Bible verses to tell you why it's totally fine for Israel to incessantly
I didn't
murder
take a nap
children,
today.
just to incessantly steal. And I think across the board, by the way, I find Christian Zionists to be worse than the radical Zionists that are in Israel. I really do, because it's like it's there's something especially gross about doing it while wearing a veneer of Christianity. You can almost understand it for a lot of the Jewish Americans, right? In the same way, like I always say, like we were raised as Black Americans, and like you're kind of learning about slavery, and like that's going to be your scariest point of historical reference in school. You can understand when a Jewish Zionist how they could fall into that trap, and a lot of them are now waking up. The scales are falling from their eyes. They are not with Bibi Netanyahu. Look at the polls. Jewish Americans are realizing he's just a mass murderer. So he's literally Jeffrey Dahmer. He's that's it. He just goes, but calls himself prime minister. He's like Prime Minister Jeffrey Dahmer. And then you have a bunch of people trying to tell you why it's biblical, what he's doing, like constantly harming children, excusing the rape of prisoners who haven't even had any trials. They're literally just being held because they're Palestinian. And I totally agree with you that there's just an awakening happening all across. And you can see that in the numbers. People are leaving a lot of these deep South Baptist churches because they realize they're not worshiping anything but the modern state of Israel, which has absolutely nothing to do with the Israel of the Bible. Biggie Kells writes, Erica canceled her fake and gay appearance because the true threat was Drewski showing up and outperforming her. It's actually funny because Barron clocked that on his show last night.
I've
He was
told
like,
you.
I think she canceled the appearance because of Drewski.
I told
Like,
you.
because now everyone is like, this is what the world thinks of you, and she couldn't show her face. And she should have just said that, or she should have said nothing. You are allowed to say nothing. You are allowed to say
just be the fuck quiet.
Erica has no, something came up. There'll be more information in the coming days. Erica's not going to be here tonight. That's it. But instead, Andrew came out there with the energy of it's your fault. And he should apologize, but he won't because he has exercised no humility in anything since September 10th. It's probably who he always was, if we're being frank. James the Least writes, I saw Ben Shapiro blaming you and your viewers for the threats against Erica. What a tool. Why are you watching Ben Shapiro? Like, who cares? I mean, this is the guy that sits down with Bibi Netanyahu and then tells us that Theo Von is a threat to civilization. Okay, he like literally interviews mass murderers like Zelensky on his show, and he's like, these people are great. What we really need to do is deal with Theo Von, who's the happiest, kindest person. Theo Von is essentially the class clown, loves everybody left and right, makes everybody laugh and feel good. And Ben Shapiro, of course, could find a problem with Theo Von because since the time he was a kid, nobody has ever liked Ben Shapiro. And the world's caught on. He's been buying views throughout his entire life. He's never going to go away. Just get used to like that buzzing noise in the background. He wants popularity. He's never going to have it because of who he is as a person. It's who he is. Has nothing to do. His ideas suck too, but it's truly just how he deals with people and how he problematizes people for having a heart, which is what Theo Von has. That's what he hates about Theo Von, and he wants him canceled. Like, it's just unbelievable. Tim Morgan writes, I just read that. The most credible threat to Erica and her crew is the truth. Seven Sheets writes, if I am to believe the truth always wins, of which I am not fully convinced, but I must support the ones that I feel are searching for the truth. Brave and undeniably, fierce work, Candace, prayers and faith to cover us all. You have to believe, I'm telling you, in the end, truth does win. I just know it. I can't explain it. You can see it because they're just too radical. There's no strategy anymore. They're coming undone. And yes, there is a threat in their desperation. They're chaotic. It's not moving like it used to move where they were trying to make friends. They don't care anymore. Again, like I just said, they're like taking shots at Theo Von, which is just dumb. Like objectively on its face, it's dumb. But you have to be appealing. You have to have people like you. You can't just make enemies with everybody. Your argument can't just be, well, we have power and we're willing to cancel people for not agreeing with us. But I sense, like I said, in that a certain desperation, which certainly means that truth is winning. So we have to be the happy people. We have to be people that are laughing and just commit ourselves to constantly telling the truth and getting around their cancel culture, if you will. Miss Moxie writes, I need you to listen to the song Good Citizen by Aya May. I feel like you wrote the lyrics for her. We love you, Candace. God bless you and keep you in God's work. We are your army standing behind you always. Thank you. We, not me, 84 writes, maybe it wasn't 100% vanity and maybe it was a bit more nefarious. The donors have clearly chosen Rubio for 2028. Maybe this was part of the ongoing humiliation ritual of JD. Blessings to the CO team. Yeah, I saw I follow Mel on X. Village Crazy Lady is her handle, and she thinks that they were trying to make JD Vance look bad. I certainly do think that Erica will dump him without question. Like she will just completely do that because she wants access in proximity to power. I mean, it's unbelievable how much wealth this girl has that she's traveling around the way that she's traveling around. It's just unbelievable. But I do truly believe that it was the ticket sales last night because she went in, right? So if they were setting him up, she wouldn't have even gotten on the plane. I think she went there. They thought they were going to be able to last minute sell a bunch of tickets. They couldn't do it. They probably had those students running around just saying like, "We'll pay you to be there." And at that point, she was humiliated and decided that she didn't want to show her face. And JD Vance did what honestly Charlie would have done. That is the difference. Charlie had character. Charlie could admit when he failed, when something didn't work, and then he would have been scribbling on a notepad. Here's what we need to do next to avoid this, and here's how we could have been better. How can we be faster, better, stronger? What can we do differently? And that demonstrates that he was a natural born leader. And Erica is not a natural born leader. She is, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe her. She's ambitious as all hell. And she has an idea of where she'd like to be, but she has no idea what it takes to get there. She's never
Exactly.
demonstrated a capability to build something on her own and sustain it. And
Oh.
that might be harsh, but it's reality.
Wait. Read how Miranda writes, please, Candace, please. And of course, that I mean, it's constructive criticism, but you got to understand she done already deep dove into Erica, so it's kind of like, of course, you're not going to like respect the hustle and the bustle of Turning Point USA and like how it got to where it was. I'm like, it got to that point because of Charlie, honey. It didn't get there because you want to sit there with them crazy ass eyes and that damn hair.
Like to support our show, you know that you can go to our website and we have
Oh,
merch.
Polo
Go get yourself
Tink.
some merch. Buy the Make America Christian Again hats. Those are beautiful.
Polo
Right?
Tink.
Jean Michel hats, also beautiful. That bumper sticker, can we just open that bumper sticker? Your car needs this. Your car is looking dirty. Your car is looking not beautiful. It needs an upgrade. It needs this bumper sticker. It needs a face that launched zero chips. And you can get this now exclusively on CandaceOwens.com. That's what your car needs. I would be very upset if that wasn't on the back of your car. I want to see somebody with that on the back of their car, and I want to honk at them like a crazy person. So if you live in Nashville, especially, you have to get that, buy that, and put it on your car. Anyways, you guys, it's Thursday. Gosh, so I'm not going to see you tomorrow. I will see you for the book club tomorrow because we bumped last week's to accommodate Trump's. A lot happening. We're learning a lot about Freemasonry. Yeah, it's getting very interesting. We'll see you guys then.
Oh man. I'm tired. I ain't took no nap. Um oh. 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 Let's child perked up real quick. Hold on, let me see. Cause I was trying to figure out why we ain't seen Boosie in a minute. Who interviewing him? It must be TK. This gotta be TK Kirkland, right? This has to be TK Kirkland asking him this question, right? Hold on. Let me see.
What's up, everybody?
Oh, it's 1090J.
Episode of 1090J TV. I am interviewing the legendary Vlad TV.
Oh, give him a props. I could hear legendary.
And the first question that we're going to pop this off with is,
Oh.
me and you were connected through Boosie. And Boosie is one of my favorite interviewees that you've had on your platform. I'm watching every time it drops.
Every time it drops.
And I'm now hearing that he's going up in price. He may be moving away from Vlad TV. What are you
going up in price?
Comments on this situation?
Well, look, me and Boosie, our business relationship goes back 20 years.
2 decades is crazy.
Vlad TV, when I was doing DVDs and I was holding the camera and going to Atlantic Records and filming him and Webby, we'll show a little clip of that. It'll show how far we really go back.
Right.
You ever run into any of the cast that bit off you?
We ain't ran into him yet, you know what I'm saying?
Was that Vlad? Shit.
They know who they is.
Look at little Boosie, honey. I don't think I've ever seen this Vlad, and I ain't never seen this damn Boosie before. Is this Vlad?
The bit off you?
Oh my God, that is Vlad.
We ain't ran into him yet, you know what I'm saying? But they know who they is.
Me and Boosie have had a good relationship, a great relationship, a friendship, a business relationship. I've been to his house a bunch of times. I met his family. And
we had a whole series, the Boosie Estates.
Originally, I wasn't paying. Over time, as the views kept going up and people were really gravitating towards these interviews, we started working out appearance fees. And the fees slowly went up. And over the last couple of years, the fee that we actually stuck at was around was $25,000 per interview.
Let me tell you something about Vlad. Vlad never tells nobody price. Vlad never tells nobody price. Nobody price. Child, whatever he paid Takashi 69 for them to interview, he gonna take that to his grave. So the fact that telling that he dropped 25 bands for a Boosie interview, what the fuck?
And
What the
that price was justified because
his views.
Boosie was pulling in like 6 million views for every interview. And in that particular situation,
Shit.
and I showed Boosie all the numbers and all my back end numbers and so forth. When he was getting around 5.5 million, I would make around 35,000 off that interview, and he would make 25,000. Right, so I had a $10,000 profit margin. He still made the majority of the money, but I was still making $10,000, so I was cool with that. Right, and we were rocking like that for years.
Okay.
So some time had passed. It was, I don't know, about 6, 7, 8 months since our last interview.
Right.
So I just hit him up one day, a couple of weeks ago, and we had a conversation. And this conversation was a private business conversation, but Boosie recently did a live where he revealed parts of this conversation. And in his live, he said that he had asked for $5,000 more, and I said no, which is why he's not going to do the interview.
Boosie. I just feel like, and this is just my opinion, but I feel like he should have did the interview, got paid his 25, and then brought up, hey, maybe we can negotiate. Don't come with no price. Just say, hey, maybe we can negotiate a price. An appearance fee. I just had a baby. My price has went up. The cost of living has went up. Gas prices has went up. Food has went up, and so maybe we could talk about that for get your 25. We just trying to figure out why I ain't seen Boosie in a minute over here on Vlad, but go ahead.
I wanted 5,000 more than he wanted to pay me. He didn't want to pay me, so I think I'm gonna make more money doing it this way. And I'm editing my interview now.
Now, that's not exactly accurate. So, I wasn't going to put any of this out there.
Right.
Because he started putting out numbers out there and people started going, oh, Vlad being cheap. Why is it only 5,000? You could pay him that. Not knowing the whole picture.
Sure,
so
go ahead.
I'm going to lay out the whole picture for everyone just to
Go ahead.
explain what exactly is going on.
Go ahead, Burberry.
So when I called Boosie, like I said,
Right.
the fee had always been 25,000.
Bingo. Excuse me. I don't have a problem with 25. Honey, I don't have a problem with 25. Okay. We're gonna make that work. And then, like I said, I'm gonna make my 25, and then we can talk about the next time. Hey, can we 25.5, 25.6, 25.750?
I want 40,000. And I'm like, fam, I can't do 40,000. That's just putting me in the hole in a situation like this. And he's like, well, I'll go as low as 35. And I'm like, man, listen, I might be able to do 30 after I run the numbers, but 35 is definitely out of the question. But let me go ahead and run my numbers and actually see what's going on.
Sure.
So I went back and I looked through the last, 5 or 6 interviews.
Okay.
And I looked, and the profit margin on each of these interviews was around $10,000.
Same.
So I showed him the numbers. I sent him a spreadsheet showing him my back end numbers. And I'm like, bro, the most I can do is 25. You're asking for
You could have did 25.5. You could have did 26.750. I would have negotiated for Boosie. Okay, how long he said he been paying him 25? Okay, your employee need an increase. We need Boosie and Vlad. I don't care. I don't even know what he had over there on live. Cause he be getting he be getting his accounts and stuff deactivated, all the backup channels and stuff like that. I'm like, sir, you could have went up 28,750.
Five. Your traffic has been dipping over the years. You've gone from about 6 million to about 5.5 to about 5 and some change. So you're looking at about maybe a 10-15% decrease in views, which means a 10 to 15% decrease in revenue, as you know. But you're asking for a 40% increase in appearance fee. A 40% increase. It doesn't make any business sense, because what will end up happening is, look, Boosie's already at home, right? He wakes up, he does the interview. There's no cost associated with him, and he was getting paid $25,000.
Okay.
I have to fly because I don't have a studio or a camera crew in Georgia, in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So I have to hire a camera crew in Atlanta. I have to fly from LA to Atlanta. I have to get a hotel. I have to have all the costs associated with it. And then afterwards, I have to pay to get the video edited and pay my crew and everything else like that. And as you know, with YouTube, I'm taking all the risk because sometimes videos get demonetized, right? Especially when you talk about someone like a Boosie,
Cussing.
who has, he swears, he's talking about a lot of edgy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I'm taking 100% of the risk. So I'm like, listen, I cannot pay you $35,000 when I'm going to make nothing, or maybe I'm even going to take a loss. And Boosie was like, yo, you're being cheap. And I said, I'm not being cheap. I'm being put in a situation where you make all the money and I make none of the money. It simply doesn't make any business sense.
Well, let me ask you, what was it that caused the price hike? Because I feel like it would be more understandable if he just beat a major case, or if something significant happened, and you know what I mean? Like, sometimes we see rappers go through crazy things and everybody wants that breaking story. What was it that you think caused this to come about?
He just had a baby.
I don't know. I know Sean Cotton, me and Sean actually had a conversation about this yesterday. And he had put out a video where he said that he had heard from someone that Boosie was upset because I had mentioned that I paid Tekashi more than I'd ever paid anyone else. And that might be the reason. I've never actually asked Boosie to confirm this, but
so that just let you know he paid Tekashi $50,000.
If that is true, you guys have to understand, Tekashi brought in like 20 million views. It was the biggest interview of 2025. It was the biggest meme of 2025. The whole I stole that shit.
Yeah.
If you don't got AC in your
With the damn what's Squalor Ray baby daddy name? Child, I can't think of his damn name. Give me that shit.
stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck nigga, I stole that shit.
I went straight and found that song.
That's still being used. There's a Trump version. Stole that shit. That's what I do, nigga. Fuck nigga, I stole that shit. And I stole it. Like, bro, but niggas don't understand. I told facts. There was all types of stuff. It was a huge interview. And for that particular interview, yes, I paid more than I paid anyone else. But that was a one-off.
Yeah.
The other Tekashi interviews were not, that same price, right? Because they didn't get those same type of views. I've paid Boosie way more than I paid Tekashi.
Over the years for one interview. Like, you see what I mean? You worried about you over here in Tekashi pockets. I'm like, he got that price for one interview, bro. Like, what is you doing? Over here cutting up damn andouille and shit. Like, sir, get back to the bag and get your ass back over here on Blade. What is we doing?
Way more.
Way more.
It doesn't seem like Tekashi is that consistent versus Boosie.
Is that you see what I mean? I'm like, sir.
More of a recurring guest.
Yeah.
And I hope that Boosie, I don't wish, whatever.
You on I don't need you over there on Instagram Live. I need you and Vlad. Y'all two.
Because both of you mesh very well, and it's the presentation entirely that makes it what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I think me and Boosie play off each other very well.
Yeah.
So Boosie went on live. Like I said, I wasn't going to say any of this. This was just going to be a private conversation between me and Boosie. And if people ever asked, I'd be like, oh, well, me and Boosie just busy. And, at some point we might hook up or not.
Sure.
I mean, it is what it is. That's my man. But he decided to make a video. And in the video, he said, yeah, I'm going to do the interview myself. I'm going to have my kids interview me. And I think I'll make more money this way. And I'm actually glad that Boosie is going that direction because he'll get to see for the first time how much money he's actually made.
Oh.
And Boosie has his own channel. Goes into it. Yeah, he'll actually get a crash course on the other side of the business because Boosie's never been a YouTube guy.
Sure.
He's been, a music guy.
Right.
He's been, getting shows. That's where most of his money comes from. So he'll get to see
on the back
what
end.
I've gone through on mine. Because right now, Boosie's now had to pay for his own cameraman. He's got to pay for his own editing. Like, he's having costs right now, which for doing interviews with me. And he'll get to see exactly how much revenue he'll get. For him to make more than 25,000, he's going to have to bring in 5-6 million views. At least 4 million views in order to make that back. And I hope he makes it. Because at the end of the day, man, everyone transitions and everyone, change and people have different priorities and everything else like that. Maybe Boosie will be okay getting less money, but owning the content. That's really up to Boosie. It's not up to me, but I think it's good. And I want everyone to watch that interview that he puts out himself. And people can come to their own conclusions, but I can almost guarantee that after Boosie goes through this process, he'll see that Vlad has been fair with him this whole time. Vlad has been
more than fair
this whole time. We've never really had, up to this point, we never had a business disagreement. At times where Boosie's like, oh, well, I thought I was going to, get this. And I'm like, okay, cool, you can have it. I'm not tripping.
Oh.
Because for me, the relationship is more important than anything else.
Exactly.
It's the business relationship.
Exactly.
Like I said, for years now, I've been giving Boosie the majority of the money.
Right.
He's been making 25, I've been making 10. I've been okay with that.
Because it's Boosie, like he gonna give you the theatrics.
But at the point where he makes zero, then I can't do that anymore. That's just the reality of it.
And the reason why he's saying 35 and 0 is because, like you said, the way the community, what they call, I can't even think of the doggone name. You know how it is over here on YouTube, Joe. You listen. He already talked about it, Joe. You get demonetized using all those profanity, all that profanity, all that N-word, and stuff like that. Your whole video will get demonetized, and you ain't make nothing.
The thing is, the fact that he put out the $5,000 thing,
Right.
people didn't understand what it was because, like,
Right.
oh, if he's getting 50, and that's just another 5,000, that's a little 10% increase. What's the big deal? Well, no, he was making 25, and he asked for 10.
Right.
I think the 5,000 came from. I said maybe I could do 30, but he wanted 35.
Oh.
And then I had to back up off that 30 after running the numbers. So really, he's asking for another 10,000. That's the
Gotcha.
truth.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I just want to say that regardless of what happens, Boosie is my guy, and we've done classic content together. You'll never, ever hear me say anything bad about Boosie.
Thanks.
Ever. I wish him all the
Respect.
best. He has a beautiful family.
Respect.
Super talented.
Yeah.
A great interviewee. Anybody is lucky to have Boosie on their platform.
Everybody. Anybody.
The kind of money that he's asking, I don't know anyone that'll pay him $35,000.
Ooh.
Not to say he's not worth it. I'm not saying, I'm not telling Boosie what his worth is. People are worth whatever they think they're worth. But I'm saying in terms of the market, and you have a YouTube channel. I mean, if Boosie asked you for $35,000 to do an interview, would you do it?
No.
10 out of 10. Nah. Look.
For the first time
Nah.
in history, college
You
student.
could imagine his face. No.
Yeah.
I would pass on that. And I also think that one of the elements that he's not taking into consideration, if he plans on dropping this on his own YouTube channel, he has to understand you have to remain consistent. Otherwise, your active viewers on your channel is going to drop. So if you only have a very limited amount of people actively watching and you drop a video, it's not going to go as viral as you think. Versus Vlad TV, the platform with over 6 million subscribers is dropping multiple videos every single day. When you have over 1 million to 2 million active viewers currently watching, these videos are going platinum immediately. And I don't think he understands that. He'll figure it out.
But I definitely hope to see him
Eee.
back on Vlad TV in the future.
For sure. Look at Vlad.
I hope to see Boosie back on Vlad TV in the future as well. We don't have any
Oh,
sort of beef. If you notice, I haven't said one negative thing about this man.
oh.
Not one. Boosie's dope, man. I love Boosie. And we've had so many moments, the hypnotized with hatred. Come on, dog. Like, there's still memes that are floating around. People
Come
love me
on,
and Boosie.
man.
And yeah, he's done other interviews, but I think if you ask any Boosie fan who their
Bless.
favorite interviewer is with Boosie, I think almost all of them will say Vlad.
100%.
And that's not me in my ego or whatever else. I
It's just
think most
fact.
people like how me and
Chemistry.
him do our interviews together
Yeah.
because I push back. I bring up
And Boosie has gotten so comfortable. First of all, I'm glad that he stopped smoking and then I'm glad that somebody that told him to, you're gonna be doing a lot of talking, so you need to go ahead and hydrate your mouth. You know what I mean? You need to make sure that if I do like this, then that means because Vlad be behind the camera. So I'm that Vlad be like, if I do like this, just wipe all that because your mouth is dry.
stuff that he wasn't expecting. I don't let him just kind of go in a direction that I disagree with. And there is some back and forth. There is some push and pull.
Sure,
And I think what we do, and we have a good rapport with each other.
sure.
I know what to ask him. We have a long history and so
Right.
forth. Can he rebuild that with someone else? Possibly, but it's going to be some work in order to do that. And like I said, maybe Boosie feels, hey, listen, I'm fine with not making any upfront money. I'd rather just own everything and make less money and build it up over time and so forth. And that's cool. And I remember one of the things that Boosie said was like, oh, you're going to keep making money forever on this thing. But the reality is that YouTube videos don't really make money forever.
No.
There's a big jump in the beginning, and then it starts to go to zero.
Mm.
A few blips happen every so often, but really most of the money is made in the first week or so.
Okay.
Right.
It's not like having
Passive.
a timeless song,
Oh,
right? It's not like
oh.
having like a "Wipe Me Down" that continues to get
Mm.
licensed. They keep getting played at concerts, big sporting events and stuff like that. YouTube is different, man. YouTube, you get a big jump in the beginning, and then it'll go down, really almost to zero. You might get little blips and so forth. So Boosie gets to experience that for the first time on his own platform, and I think it's cool that he's doing his own interviews. There's no bitterness, anger, or whatever else. We just couldn't come up to a business deal that made sense for everybody. And yeah, I mean, I felt a little bit type of way about it, but I was going to keep it to myself. But then now it was on every blog, like literally every blog had picked that up, and people started coming up with their own conclusions and so forth because what he put out was very limited. He just said he didn't want to give me an extra $5,000. And from the surface, that sounds like me being cheap or petty or whatever else. And it really wasn't just about that $5,000. It was about the bigger picture. And it was really $10,000. It was a 40% increase, a 40% increase, which when you look at business,
Vlad, relax. He's just rambling and rambling and rambling. And it's so crazy. I'm just sitting here staring at his neck because obviously. And it's just, I'm like, chill, damn.
if you want a
Relax
40%
your
increase, you have to
neck.
justify that 40% increase, right? There has to be
Like, relax.
40%
Look, I'm like, bro, relax, bro. Relax your neck.
revenue. It has to be something.
It's like so strange.
Wasn't anything there. So I had to say, hey, man, I'm passing.
Chill.
And I was going to leave it at that. But then that live came out. And then, and he did a video afterwards. He's like, hey, people are trying to pit us against each other. Vlad is my guy. I can call him up. We can laugh about it. And that's 100% true.
Hey, y'all on social media trying to make this like it's a beef between me and Vlad, bro. Like, that's my motherfucking guy, bro.
Look, okay.
I'm calling
Okay.
Vlad right now, bro.
Right. Exactly.
I am Boosie's guy. He can laugh about it. You know what I mean? I love the guy. I think what he's accomplished is incredible. Incredible. He has an incredible home. We've done features on his house. I've met his kids. I met his baby. I got his dog at one point.
Right, that's true. He
We
did. He
we go
did.
back. I even told him. I remember when I got bit by his dog. I'm like, someone gonna sue you
For that
for
shit.
this dog.
Yeah.
You're the third person that They got bit this week. And I'm like, someone gonna sue you. It ain't gonna be me. I'm not gonna sue you, but someone gonna sue you. You gotta, keep that dog under wraps. So we have like a lot of history, man. And
That is true.
there's people that Boosie had problems with that I sided with him on. Like for example, like the whole Aiden Ross situation. Me and Aiden ended up working out afterwards, but I took Boosie's side on that when he was beefing with Young Blue. I kind of took his side on that. And yeah, man, I think I've been a pretty loyal guy this whole time. I think that done great business together. We've both made money. We've both gotten new fans. We've all done well
Evolved.
what's been happening up to this point. But then we reached a point, and he said, "Oh, I'm just hustling. If I can make more money, I can." And that's true. But in this particular case, he's trying to make more money by taking away the money that I was going to make in terms of just the profit margin at all. And that to me just made no sense. So I passed, and
Wish you
that's
the
basically
best.
where we are right now.
Look,
Definitely. Well, I appreciate the explanation. I'm sure this is going to clear up a lot of things for a lot of people. And like I said, I hope we get Boosie back on Vlad TV.
I hope so too, man. Shout out to Boosie.
exactly. I'm like, if you gonna bring your black, it's not gonna. Oh, I knew he was live. I don't know why we always want live together. David got arrested. Y'all, David got arrested. I'm live. I hate to find out stuff when I'm live. Hold on, give me a second. First of all, I need to do a sound check. Okay. Thumbs up. Okay. Oh, watch it. Should I go to Armand? Good. He just 2 hours ago is crazy.
At 5:30, you might recognize this picture. That's singer David. The LAPD just announced that they have arrested him for the murder.
Hold on, give me a second, Chuck.
For the
Okay.
murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the 21-year-old singer whose real name is David Burke, has been at this.
Oh.
My name is Dylan Shaw.
Mm, 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 mm. Look at I know he.
People, it is not a drill. It has finally happened.
Yes.
Justice is here. David has been arrested for the
Look, I'm talking about he got a chain. Look. Man, he dropped so many videos about this.
Celeste. It's
Let's
official.
go.
It's true. I
Let's
could not believe. I
go.
wasn't sure if it was really a
Let's
thing.
go.
Singer David has officially been arrested in connection with the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez. Man, says David, according to the LAPD, David has been arrested in connection with the murder of a teenager. His body was found in the trunk of a Tesla registered to the singer.
Wow.
It took months. He's being held without bail. It has finally happened, people. Sources told ABC News the arrest is based on evidence and probable cause that was developed. It was not an indictment. It is an arrest for murder. And the police says the case will be presented to the district attorney's office in Los Angeles Monday for a filing consideration. We got him, folks. We got him. Finally, everybody had been absolutely baffled. Why on earth it's
Man,
taking these
right,
months? The body was found
right,
in mid-September. It's now mid-April.
right.
What a joke. Now, I did previously say that I wonder the date that the alleged murder might have happened is April 16th, 2026 right now. I wonder if we're going to find out later on that perhaps it's possible that maybe the murder had actually taken place. A lot of people theorized it was around April 420, had actually been put forward by a lot of people, but it is official, people. David has
420 coming up.
been arrested and we can sleep
I'm still breastfeeding.
once again to know that this disgusting, depraved scumbag, allegedly, is finally off the streets. He'll never be able to hurt another little girl, allegedly. All right, in our opinion, it is crazy. So let's react to the full news report, and then I'll give you some of the of Reddit, man. But we finally got him, man. Excellent, not excellent police work. It took you 7 months, but police work nonetheless.
Cause them news, honey, them news, they be clip.
Get in here, get in here. It's time to get into some things, okay? Listen, Offset's life is getting messier and messier by the day.
What
I
happened
don't
now?
know what kind of voodoo is on Offset right
Right.
now, but it is not good. So Offset and Sweetie's love affair has seemingly been exposed. Okay, so if you
Seemingly.
remember, maybe about 2 years ago, it
Uh-huh.
came out that Offset had been porking Sweetie on the side.
Right.
Perhaps that was the issue with him and Little Baby. I don't know, but Sweetie, I guess, has been
Little
bouncing around
baby.
from rapper to rapper. Allegedly.
Right.
I don't know. Don't
Right.
sue me.
Right.
I'm just saying. This is what the girls were saying.
Sure.
And we also know that Sweetie was
Quavo.
dating Quavo, and
Right.
maybe that was the reason why they fell out. I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
But then two, we know that Cardi B never really liked Sweetie. They never really had a relationship.
Right.
Now, Noriega does an interview with Jason Lee on the Jason Lee podcast, Jason Lee show.
Oh,
And
Jason.
they seemingly talk about, an issue that Noriega and Offset had. I guess they had fallen out or whatever. But long story short,
Right.
Nori talks about a question that Offset that he took out of an interview, doing the
Ooh.
bro code in regards to Sweetie and Offset hooking up. Now,
Mm.
apparently, the question got answered. He knows the answer to the question. He never revealed it. But Jason Lee, being who Jason Lee is, very messy,
Messy.
knows the answer too, goes and says, "Oh yeah, I remember that. Because you said if he keeps trying you, you're going to leak the question or you're going to leak what happened on the interview." Interview with Takeoff and Quavo together. By the way, the Migos, just be very clear, is still probably my favorite hip hop group of this generation because I just love what
They trio.
that-
Legends.
and by the way, me, because like we're deep, we're deeping into a conversation where it seems like me and Offset had beef.
Why his
Like we
lips
did have
swole?
beef. Like what it was he asked me for a certain thing that I actually did. I just didn't do it. You
You took out the question of whether or not Offset slept with Saweetie Wanda.
Absolutely.
He's so
You took that
messy.
question out.
Absolutely.
And
He
you still have
messy.
that footage.
Absolutely.
And you have the answer.
Absolutely.
But
And
you,
I
but you
respect your man code.
okay, and took it out.
Absolutely.
Would you sell it?
Nope.
To me?
Nope.
To Cardi?
Nope.
To
But
Saweetie?
it depends on y'all. How much y'all offer?
We
Nah,
can-
nah, hell no. Offset, I got
But
your
you
back.
are the only person right
That would have
now
done that.
that has the answer.
No, and guess what? You still ain't gonna get that answer.
Who was upset with you that day? Because you be having a lot of people in the background. Can we pay them? No. Okay, no, we won't do that. But so you asked the question.
By mistake. I didn't know.
But you asked the question.
Yes, I did.
And you got the answer.
Yes, I did.
But then you cut it out.
Yes.
And you held on to it.
To this day.
Because of the bro code. Oh, that's right. Because when you called me, you said if he keep talking, you'll put it out. That's right. That's right.
So that tells me that
You slept with Sweetie.
Offset bang Sweetie. This one is definitely equaling two.
The fuck? The fuck are you talking about? So that means you sat there and you lied into Kiki Palmer's face. That's what you did. That's what you did. Because remember, Kiki asked. No, man, no. Stupid ass nigga, ain't nobody.
Offset bang Sweetie.
Exactly.
I mean, 1+1 is
It
definitely equaling two.
equals
They don't necessarily
two.
have to say it, but
But we know
clear here. And Nori was messy as hell for going on Jason Lee.
Jason Lee and then trying to
that up and alley ooping that like that because you already knew that Jason Lee was going to take it, run with it, and carry it. And you at this point, you might as well put it out.
it might as well.
But my thing is, Sweetie, if that is true, how dirty could you get? How
I
dirty
told
does
you.
she gonna get?
I
She
told
just
you.
announced that you were really out here embarrassing the dog shit.
Out of Cardi. I told you. I told you. Cause remember DJ Academic had already said this. We already know this. It happened. I don't care. He did it. She did it.
Like, but still, she's not Cardi B, And so at some point, I just feel like,
And she ain't like ever since that happened, we ain't heard nothing from Sweetie. We ain't heard absolutely nothing from Sweetie. No music, no nothing, no nothing, no nothing. She can't. It's like I don't even know why y'all.
Relationship needed to end because you had this girl looking ridiculous. But then also, Offset, if you slept with Sweetie, wasn't Quavo your man's?
Is that see what I mean?
And then Sweetie, you got these niggas running crazy. You done went from Quavo to Lil
Mhm.
Baby to Offset. You
Offset.
just running through the Atlanta niggas, both. You know, that's a bad man. But she never addresses anything.
N-
She never says nothing. And it's like, well, what would make her do that? Like, why would you
Exactly.
sleep after Cardi B's man or just sleep after these girls? Man, like,
Right.
how long are there no other niggas out there? But then two, in my mind, sweetie, that's too close to home. You done homie hopped? Damn, it don't even matter. These niggas, these females, nobody. People just ain't shit. It don't matter how much money, how much fame, how much access. People are still people. You get what I'm saying? And then for Cardi B, it's like, girl, I know that had, and not for nothing. I'm sure that's probably why she was getting surgery. So now I'm starting to, now it's all making sense of why her emotions were just rampantly through the roof and her self-esteem was down because it's like you're at the top of the food chain when it comes to music and career, but yet
You
these other
still
girls
can't get your
that are
man
on your level,
loyal.
they're still being able to get your nigga. And the thing is this, my thing is cheat up. Don't cheat down. You feel me? Don't have these bitches feeling like they can be on my level. Don't have these hoes feeling like, yeah, I'm Cardi B man.
Right.
In turn, you had her chopping her face all up, pinning behind her ears and her neck and her throat,
Oh my God.
and laying on every doctor, and nigga, you still cheating. You crashing out, going crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, I get it. Girl,
Right.
you were being tormented
Yeah.
by this nigga, and he was over there really breaking down her self-esteem,
Hmm.
had her feeling ugly.
And I'm glad that she left all that negative energy. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, people have no idea how empowering it is to get away from people with negative energy is so life changing. It's so life changing. I mean, completely life changing. This is coming from me. Trust me, I know. But when I tell you, I bring it up every time. I
He
bring
was
it up.
feeling like, in my mind, like she had to compete, and it was like nothing that she was doing
Was good enough.
It didn't matter about the money, didn't matter the look, didn't matter the surgery, didn't matter the face. No face worked. You
No
still,
ass,
no body worked. You skinny, fat, thick, whatever. Still,
kids,
and it's just like at some point she had to get out of that because he was driving her crazy, and she tried to stay.
and
So
she
now I
did.
see, like, okay, Cardi B for her own mental, she had to get out of there because
Mhm.
if I was her, I'd want to kill one of these hoes.
Ooh.
Because now these hoes is playing in my face. Because now it's like, sweetie, oh, I'm gonna come in, girl. I can get your neck done. Krishan Rock can get your neck.
Don't bring up that Krishan shit. Don't bring up that Krishan shit. Cause sweetie, but the Krishan
Can get your nigga. And you Cardi B, everybody can get your nigga. Everybody.
any and fucking everybody can get that nigga.
It's like, girl,
I wouldn't even want
what's the point of being the queen?
exactly. Cause he ain't no king.
Oh, I just thought that was crazy. So while it wasn't actually confirmed, I
Mhm.
do feel as though that was very clear.
Mhm.
That
I mean,
Offset
obviously,
messed around
right? Because if it was a no, you wouldn't have had any reason to edit the footage, take the answer out, or whatever, whatever. You went on Kiki Palmer, and what did you say?
with Sweetie. They clearly had a relationship. And I just think that at some point, Offset, he needs to control his addictions. It's giving you have a addiction, it's giving you have a gambling addiction. And it's like you were out here embarrassing your family and your girl. And now I see why it was like so much on edge during that time because she probably was getting whacked left and right. And the thing was, to save face, she didn't really want to put him out there like that because then at the same time she's pregnant. But everybody's looking and laughing at you because you're supposed to be this big fab, bad bitch, and all these little basic bitches that got your nigga. So it's like no matter how many famous you are, no matter how pretty you get, no matter how much surgery you got, he still ain't enough to keep the nigga. And all these
I'm finna get up out of here. I ain't finna. Mm-mm. I'm finna get up out of here. I don't know who that is. I don't even. Let me just go. Let me go. That right there, just my spirit. But in the meantime, I ain't gonna say never mind. And just, I'm just in the meantime, in between time. Bye. Love you.